Thank you so much for being here. I know you've been on an exhaustive schedule. And it's our...
Can I still match it?
Would you prefer? Yeah.
Sorry.
I kept it warm for you. That was...
It's very nice. Nestling into your seat. Thank you. No, it's sort of, sorry, I just, equilibrium and all that.
You is better from that side.
I don't know, I just, left hand. I don't know.
So,
that was odd. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're the director. You direct, I mean, clearly, right? So I kicked off this screening mentioning that in 10 years you've given us four incredible feature films, but that have all somehow become a cultural touchstone. And this one included in the short weeks that it's been available to the public. It's already started several conversations that may or may not actually have anything to do with what you created, which is a great movie. And I just wondered if we could start by talking about the fact that somehow your films seem to trigger people into discussing things that are deep inside them, and your films help release.
Man,
I'm sorry.
No, but I'm always interested in things which get swept beneath the carpet. Always have been. I always am interested in things which are sort of uncomfortable, because those are things we have to deal with. Those are the things we have to grapple with in order to go forward, for us to sort of progress in one way, shape, form, or the other. I mean, it's necessary, and it's scary. And I, throw myself at it as I jump, and I don't know how I'm going to land. I just jump. Why? Because we're going to die anyway, and I thought, might as well just go for it. I don't know. It's one of those things where, as an artist, as a director, you just want to sort of grapple with, because it's necessary. Have to. No avoiding it. We could bury our heads in the sand. Yes, we could do that, but we could deal with what's in front of us. And I think the fact that this movie is a contemporary picture about now, not the past or the idea of a wonderful future. This is about now, and that's the most difficult thing to deal with, especially in this time of uncertainty and everything's out of balance in a way.
So one of the touchstone elements of this film has been the focus on a woman over 40, right, as your lead protagonist, and has been part of a conversation about this being the year of women over 40. It's something we talked about last night with Angela Bassett as one of those women. But one of the things I find super compelling is that it's all you really do, and I mean, I'm making light of it, but is make middle age thrilling and engaging and sexy. And somehow that's triggered people.
Yeah, we do have sex over 40. Again, I just think it's a life, isn't it? It's a journey. It's a journey, and you never get old, do you? Really? I mean, yes, possibly physically. You maybe upstairs it gets a bit sort of dusty, but you never get old. You just exist, and one has to sort of grapple with all these things which sort of just keep coming at us. And we pick up along the way. I mean, I picked up Widows when I was 13 years old. I was watching on a TV screen, and this thing sort of fell in my lap, and I didn't know what to do with it as a child. I mean, I relate to people who were deemed as not capable and were being judged by their appearance, similar to how I was being judged as a 13-year-old black child growing up in London. And you put these things in your pocket, or you become a magnet, and they attach themselves to you, not knowing if they'll be useful to you in your future. And it's just, I think that's what I'm interested in. That's what sort of, I think, as far as being on a journey in life, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to grapple and tackle things which are sort of in front of you, and it's the only thing we can do, until we fall down.
So for those in the audience who aren't familiar, this work is inspired by a 1980s era British TV series.
Yes, I saw it. Linda Plant, she was an actress who wasn't getting roles, And then she decided to write, and she wrote Widows was the first thing she wrote, and then she wrote Prime Suspects. Let's imagine where you are. You know her from. She wrote Prime Suspect, and she you know, Helen Mirren was an amazing actress, and she was well known in the UK, but Linda Plant in Prime Suspect made her well renowned. And so Linda's always been working and working on narratives for women, particularly middle-aged women, and grappling with that.
So your co-writer Gillian Flynn extends upon this, and we talked about this in New York, but this desire in kind of pushing further the idea of the centrality of women to this narrative and to many narratives that aren't ever talked about or told, to kind of pinning the dramatic progression of the story to very specific elements of parts of womanhood. Specifically in this case, for example, the difficulty of finding childcare versus finding a gun, right?
Well, that's interesting, because I remember the first time I saw Widows, there were no one had children. And it was the first thing I thought, okay, well, we have to have children in this. Definitely, we have to have a situation where people are dealing with, you know, that aspect of life. Also, the whole idea of sort of childcare, you know, white feminism, black feminism, as such, and you know, sort of, you know, Belle, sort of mother looking after her children, so she go off and look after someone else's children. You know, it's you know, again, those things are kind of subliminal in the film when you see, but they're rooted. They're so heavy. They're so deep. And I think there's a lot of things in the picture which are sort of, you know, one can brush over or one can re-examine, and that was always interesting. I think Gillian and myself were just sort of having those discussions about journey, and having those discussions about, how can I say, I want to get to the high schools, but at the same time, it's about the individuals within the story, and not letting those characters just be two-dimensional, or one-dimensional rather. Depth, complexity.